Hey guys, welcome to First Friday with Family Law. Thank you all for tuning in. Now it's time for a discussion about child custody, which means at the end of the video you'll get a code for the free 30-minute consultation about the distinction between legal and physical custody, as that's one of the most frequently asked questions that our firm tends to get. So let's discuss that difference. Typically when everybody wants to file for custody, everybody just thinks, okay, custody, let me just get as much time as I can with my child or children. And when everybody thinks about that, they just think it's just how much time do I actually have the child in my care. And with that being said, that only speaks to the issue of physical custody. How much time is the child with me? Do I get them full time? Do I get them for all 365 days, or half the year, or week on, week off, or the standard 225 or 223? Whatever schedule works for you guys, and for which specific holiday, who gets what time, things like that. And we'll get into that in a minute, but nobody ever thinks about legal. Legal custody is who gets to make decisions. And some people think that just comes naturally, whether that's 50-50 or whatever. But as it relates to what does legal custody actually mean? What kinds of decisions are we talking about? Well, first one of the big ones is education. Are they going to stay in dad's school district or mom's school district? Are they going to continue to remain with the medical provider that they're with, or are they going to switch providers? What about specialists? What about any kind of therapist? And religious upbringing. Sometimes a lot of people don't like to talk about religious upbringing because they either directly conflict. Sometimes they agree on the particular religious upbringing, but they also don't. If people are separating or separated, maybe they want to go to different churches. So really, the issue of legal custody is way more intricate than people tend to think that it is. When you have a legal custody decision to make, you want to think about also who's going to be the tiebreaker in the event that you guys disagree. Sometimes the courts will pick, okay, well, this parent who has made these decisions in the past or historically, depending on the evidence presented, maybe this parent will be the one to break the tie. That's not as common, but it happens. A lot of times the deciding physician or the recommending person who is doing it, for example, if a teacher says maybe your child should be on this course for their education. If the parents can't decide whether or not it's the right way to go, maybe it's up to the teacher, maybe it's up to the doctor. These are the kinds of things that you need to think about when we're deciding legal custody. It's always better to agree than just leave it up to a third party. As it relates to physical custody, like I said, we'll circle back to that, this is the time the child's with you. Think about things like the holidays that everybody tends to get. And everybody thinks about things like Christmas and Thanksgiving and some of the other bigger days like Memorial Day and 4th of July and things like that. And I call those the bigger days because those are the ones where the parents tend to have plans for family and things like that during the school year. But what about the child's birthday? Or what about things like Halloween, where the child gets to have a lot of fun and dress up for one day out of the year? And what happens on certain teacher work days and things like that? Some people really do care about that additional time, and some people really do care about those specific days because the kids are growing up. So when it comes to child custody, you really have to think about what attorney you want to go with and who's going to really advocate for what you want, what you believe your kids want, and really the amount of time that you really would like to experience with your children and how you would like to spend that time with your children. Again, we said that we would give you a code for when you guys would like to call in for the free 30-minute consultation. So the code is going to be CC24. So if you'd like to consult with us about legal and physical custody, again, that's CC24. Look forward to hearing from everybody. Thank you.